That's not how the Force works. I don't care!
Yeah, I think I remember seeing the movie. There's one scene that sticks out, and it probably sticks out for everybody, which is that, have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
What are you talking about?
G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. Yo! Hello everyone and welcome to Casual Rage 263, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. This week, well, we're going to touch on Spider-Man, of course, we have to. It is massive what this movie has been able to achieve in basically like 2.5 weeks. We're coming into its third weekend and how massive this movie actually is. I've got some thoughts on it in regards to like the more you think about the movie, again, I think I went over this last week, the more you think about the movie, the more like problems you see with it. But despite all of that, superhero fatigue, I don't think is necessarily a thing. I think the fact that it's just Spider-Man is just carrying the movie. So we'll get into a little bit of that. I wanted to go over House of the Dragon because I've been obviously watching that, keeping up to date with that. The season finale happened this week, so we'll talk about that. There has been actually a little bit of Star Wars news. Believe it or not, there's actually been a little bit of Star Wars news. But today also, I don't think I'll be going for too long. I still have a lot of shit to get done. This is the last week of my annual leave, so I'm back at work on Monday. And I still need to get a fair bit of stuff done. So we'll see how we go. We'll get through everything though. And then there was also a couple of things just in regards to some of the shills out there, and we'll get into that. But let's quickly say hello and see who we've got in the chat. We've got Caleb Levine. Excuse me. Rhino, it's my birthday and I'm having dinner at Outback Steakhouse. Well, get a bloomin' onion for me. Just thought of you, LOL. Rage on, brother. Hail, brother. Happy birthday. Cheers. I hope you have a good one. We got Boss Hog, you fucking dog. It's been a while since I've seen that clip. Do I still have it here? Surely.
Okay.
He can't. Whoa, you.
How's the fishing?
Just help me bring it in.
Roll your dog. How you doing, bosso? Good to see you. We got P-Dub. Salute to you. We got Angry Sparrow here. We've got Brother Crawl the Ninth. How you doing? I saw Gary reading your name, and he was like struggling with it, like as much as I was. It was kind of funny. Who else we got? We got Nuisance Bird, Caw. Soul Assassin, how you doing? Mike Hill, I'm guessing you did get a new Twitter. I thought that was you, but there was no profile picture or anything, so I was kind of like, is it? And we've also got Sula Felix in the chat. And any lurkers, how you doing? I'll let a few people come in. Did you hear studies? How Rhino? Did you hear studies nationwide? Students nationwide are leaving classes to protest One Nation. Of course they are. Of course they are. And of course the schools are fucking allowing it. I haven't heard about this. That's my dyslexia. You see how bad it sometimes is? This is why elbows... I'm guessing that, yes, I understand. Albanese elbow is desperate to lower the voting age to 16. Has he been actually pushing for that as well? Has he been actually pushing for that as well? Dude. You know, out of all the countries that are going through such bullshit like this, like I think who's in a worse position right now, the UK or Australia? And a lot of people would answer the UK. But in the UK, you've got big names pushing back against this stuff. And it I don't know. I don't see anybody here in Australia that I see people out there, don't get me wrong. You've got social media people, you've got some people within politics that are truly standing up, but you don't see them really like putting themselves out there. Anyway, I don't really want to get into politics. I fucking hate politics. And it fucking makes me angry and it pisses me off because everything's so fucking retarded. And then you start thinking that one side is, oh, this side's going to help. This side's actually going to think about the people. And then they get in and they fucking, you know, you get somebody like Elbow who absolutely lies, you know, I'm not going to change negative gearing. I'm not going to change any of this stuff. Oh, we changed our position. But hang on, that was something you ran on in your fucking, in the election. That you weren't going to do these things. Oh, but we've changed our position. Fuck you. Fuck you. Nobody voted for that. Nobody wants this. And then you're going to get somebody like a One Nation, Pauline Hanson, come in. And who knows? Everybody, I don't think Pauline can do the job well. But everybody just wants that change. And she's saying all the right things. I don't know. I fucking hate politics. I fucking hate it. And I hate how much it's infiltrated people's lives, the topics of conversation. Sometimes you can't even have a conversation with somebody unless, you identify which political party you're actually for, and then that will determine whether or not they're willing to have a conversation with you. Fucking hate it. It's so stupid. Anyway, let's get away from fucking politics because we lost viewers because we're fucking talking about Australian politics. I'm sure if I was talking about American politics, it'd be a little bit different. We did talk a little bit about Fauci last week, but I get really fucking angry about fucking COVID. Fuck those cunts. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Let's do Spider-Man really quickly so that we can just get that out of the way. Spider-Man has been absolutely massive. Over the last 2.5 weeks, this movie has absolutely dominated to the point where something like The Odyssey probably should have done a little bit better in these last couple of weeks. But because of Spider-Man, I swear it has affected that movie on a massive scale because it's just slowed down so much and Spider-Man has obviously sped up so much. So just taking a look at the box office, as of right now, I think this is a little bit behind with Box Office Mojo here. But I tell you what, it'd be hard to fucking keep up with how fucking much momentum this fucking movie's got. So in 3 weeks, basically 2.5 weeks, so it's only been 2 weekends, this movie has made $1.7 billion. Huge. Absolutely massive. And if we actually, hold on one second. I don't think I've got it saved here, but I do have that. I'm pretty sure we looked at The Odyssey last week, didn't we? And it was like 930 million. But I think even when we looked at it then, it had already crossed over $1 billion. I'd already seen reports saying that it had crossed $1 billion. But let me just bring this up really quickly. So The Odyssey is now sitting at $1.1 billion. Definitely slowed down since Spider-Man has come out. Not to say that this movie hasn't been a success, despite how bad I think this movie actually is. There's some okay parts of it, but the identity politics that has been put into this, I've said it before, it almost blankets the movie and just, I automatically think it's a shit movie. You're going against the text. You're going against basically what the story is, and it just blankets it a bad movie for me. It's like straight away, as soon as you say that you cast a black Snape, I am blanketing that show is going to be bad. Now, it might, throughout the scenes that you don't see Snape in it, it might actually tell the story of the books. But they've obviously already told us that they're going away from some of that stuff anyway. They have to recontextualize some things, I'm sure, because of Black Snape. But that's just how I feel now, because they're doing it for no other reason than racism, and they're the ones that are racist. So Spider-Man has been absolutely massive. $1.7 billion. This thing is going to cross the $2 billion mark, I reckon, by the end of this third weekend. And this movie, on its surface, you go in there and you're a bit excited to see Spider-Man do some web slinging and some sick combat. You do walk out of there a little bit with the beer goggles on. I will say that. I certainly was. And, it's not that I didn't necessarily see that there was problems behind everything for me when I first watched it. And I thought, that was actually kind of enjoyable. There was something in me saying that there's something wrong with it, though. And I couldn't put my finger on it, really. And it was Jean Grey the whole time. And then once that sort of gets recognized and it gets identified to me that that's what the actual problem is, then I start to think, fuck. Yeah, this movie has great web slinging. It's got great combat. It's got great effects. It's got good Spider-Man. But then the overall and the underlying plot and story of the movie has so many flaws and holes in it that it's not as enjoyable anymore. I gave this movie a 7 out of 10. It's now just a mid movie. It's a 5. It sits right in the middle because there's those good elements to it and the good emotional beats to it as well. As much as I want him to move away from the whole MJ stuff, being lonely and everything for 5 years like that, being all alone, nobody knows who he is. His actual family are all dead. You know, but then you bring in parts of the AI, the elements of the AI that he's got in his suit and stuff like that. Now he doesn't have the Iron Spider suit where, you know, this thing can fucking fight for him almost. But like the AI thing, it's, you know, we're seeing the image of him getting his overloaded senses being overloaded, and then the suit needs to tell us, oh, your senses are being overloaded. Like, we don't need that additional context. We can see it. We can see what's happening. It's like they bring in the AI to tell dumb people or tell people that sit there on their phones instead of watching the movie what's actually happening. And that's where I now start to have a problem with this movie, despite the fact that it's going to make a shit ton of money, shit ton more money than it already has. But it definitely has affected Odyssey. This has shown how bad the DC universe has been. Everybody wants to talk about how Superman making $600 million or whatever it made was a success and it was good. That's Superman. That's the DC, you could almost say, equivalent, or is Batman the DC equivalent of Spider-Man? Either way, Superman's still big, still a massive fucking character. But I don't know. And I can only talk about how I feel about it. I can't speak for the wider world out there. But I don't think that this is going to reflect into Doomsday. Doomsday looks like a much bigger mess. And the other thing too is that when people came out of this movie, there was already good word of mouth. Even I gave a good word of mouth, despite the fact that I'm backpedaling a bit on that. It's going to depend on that word of mouth for Doomsday. And the lead up to Doomsday, I don't think even it has close to the same excitement as the lead up to Spider-Man. I think everybody was reasonably excited for Spider-Man because of the end of the last Spider-Man movie. He was all alone. But then we get that 5-year jump and we get that montage at the beginning of this movie. And that's the movie I wanted to see. Why does it need to be this big? Yeah, we could have seen the lonely. Like you could have built up to a story like this with this. This is what I mean about Spider-Man being so. You could do so many isolated stories just with Spider-Man. You know, you could have had a build up to something better than Jean Grey fucking raping people and killing everybody. And then feeling sorry. We're going to try and feel sorry for her by the end of it. Anyway, this movie's fucking massive. Internationally, it's made over $1 billion. Domestically, it's made nearly $700 million. It wouldn't surprise me if domestically it cracks that $1 billion mark. And that's huge. That is huge. Just like he was in Spider-Man 2. Dude, it would have been so good if we had have had a movie where within that movie, maybe he takes down 2 sets of villains. Like he takes down the hand that's working with Scorpion. Right? Also, you don't even need to do it like that. You could have fucking a fucking movie where he takes down the Hand. You could have a movie where he takes down just Scorpion. You could do those kinds of movies. A bit like, yes, fucking Spider-Man 2. But no. And I'm sure if this was able to just be just a Sony project, it probably would have been a bit more just like that, because you don't get the Jean, like, Disney putting Jean Grey in there to introduce the X-Men for what, the second or third time. Well, we got the introduction at the end of the Marvels. And I can't think of another one, because we got Beast at the end of that, but there was another one, but I don't think I watched the movie. I've just heard that there's another one. Anyway, we'll see where Spider-Man ends up at the end of the day. This thing is going to be absolutely massive. And by the end of this third weekend, I fully expect it to hit that $2 billion mark. And like I said, I don't think it's going to reflect into Doomsday. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure we'll get another shitty trailer about Doomsday, because the production of that seems like it's going to be a mess, but we'll see where it goes. Fucking absolutely crazy, though. Fucking $1.7 billion. Albatross for $5 says Brand New Day basically asks us to feel sorry for a school poor. Fucking phone starts ringing. School poor. But it's okay because we're men. Weird morally. Weird mortality. Sorry. Absolutely. It's the same thing as the end of WandaVision. It's the same thing. They'll never know what you sacrificed for them when she tortured them for as long as she did, and fucking, I don't know, didn't even let kids go to the bathroom and shit. Crazy. You need better glasses? No, I just need better fucking reading skills. I'm retarded, dude. My dyslexia fucks me so bad. So bad. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. What are we going to give you?
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
Right. That's right. Fuck off, Disney, you fucking cunts. You don't think this will have a flow-on effect for Doomsday? Look at the trailer views and the pre-ticket sales. Going by the logic around before Spider-Man, what Avengers movie hasn't performed well? Well, that's true. What Avengers movie hasn't performed well? And I think that, like, the thing is with Avengers of Doomsday is that I don't think it's not going to, make at least $1 billion, if not more. You got all these cameos coming in. You got RDJ coming in, which they're going to use him a lot in the promotional stuff, you would think. Just getting that attention back, and obviously Thor's back in there. People are going to go and see it. I don't know, I just don't think that the Spider-Man movie is going to necessarily have, it's not. Despite whether or not Spider-Man comes out or not, I don't think Doomsday performs any differently. That's basically the point that I'm sort of trying to make. There was nothing really in, even the end credit scene where, Spider in the tracker and Spider-Man's in space. Is Spider-Man even in Doomsday? Is Spider-Man in Doomsday? Now, so not confirmed. Not nothing. Yeah. Tom Holland Spider-Man is not officially part of the confirmed main cast of Avengers Doomsday. We'll see. We will see. But speaking of casting, so obviously there's been a lot of conversation around the casting of the X-Men. And the main, I think, discussion around what did I say? Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. The main controversy around the casting of Doomsday, fucking the X-Men, is Professor X and Magneto, Eric Lencher and Charles Xavier. Now, I don't know where this exactly is. Let me bring this up. Oops. I clicked cancel instead of share. There we go. All right. Probably in Secret Wars. What for Spider-Man? Rhino, his villain, is super dumb. Except for a couple. I like Spider-Man's villains. Yes, I hate this guy. Roast him. So this guy goes through, he's got a whole, 23-minute video on like the different castings. We got Rogue there. We talked a little bit, I think, about the casting on Flashcast last weekend. And like, I don't know how you could go through a massive breakdown like this of the casting, but fair enough. That's what you're doing. So there's two sections here about, I don't know, I think it's this one that I want to go through. I have a really, I didn't watch it, Fear of FEMA. I haven't watched it yet. I do want to watch it, and I probably will sit down and watch it soon. So in regards to this, I'll say it now before we get into it. So there's obviously the talk about how they're going to move Eric, or I better not say it like that because he might get up and think that I'm actually talking to him. Magneto, they want to shift his timeline from obviously the Holocaust to the civil rights. So like move it from the 40s to the 60s, 70s, something like that. Now, this is the thing with that I look at is, okay, so how old was Magneto during the Holocaust? He was what? Was he a teenager? He was a young boy, right? So you move him to being around the same age during that civil rights. All you're doing is moving at 20 years? Maybe 20 to 30 years, you're moving his age forward. So if you bring it to that time, then the person would be in now, they would be like 60, 70 years old. No, that's not right. It's 60s. Yes, they're still an older person now in present day. I like, for the sake of doing that, if it's an age thing, then I don't see the point. Because all you need to really do is make their mutations, make them age slower. Most mutants have that anyway. Anyway, let's listen to what he has to say. Oh, we need audio.
My 2 picks. The 2 picks I want. Coy's picks. Removing the comics tie-ins and all the people raging about fucking casting, and it's so ironic when people are racist or bigoted in regards to X-Men. Like, there was so much of that in X-Men 97 season 1. I was like, guys, these aren't for you, clearly. I want
Now I haven't watched the new X-Men. What is it, 97? Is it X-Men 97? I know Flash has been watching them, and I know that he's been enjoying them. There was a little bit of controversy around that first one, that first season. I think everybody sort of got over that. It was kind of that situation where they were saying shit was in it, and then when you watched it, it wasn't really in it. You know, the identity politics stuff that everybody talks about. But like, I think when it comes to X-Men, nobody's ever been quote unquote racist towards X-Men. Like, everybody liked Storm. Everybody liked the female characters. Nobody was sexist towards them either. Like, I hate this fucking narrative. Don't like how they made Morph look. Well, that was what the controversy was behind. It was behind Morph being non-binary or something. They, them. But then to the people that watched it, like, that narrative wasn't actually in it. Wasn't a part of it.
how do I say this? This isn't me
Hail,
being
brother.
insensitive about like the Jewish nature of the characters. I know that's very important to a lot of people, but the Holocaust was so long ago. I don't know if that storyline can work for 2026, and I do think this is set in the present. I would have.
Well, this is the thing. Again, when we're talking about the whole time thing, you're only moving it fucking 30 years. Instead of the character in present day being 80 years old, 80 to 90 years old, you're talking 50 to 60 years old. I think the story and the narrative of the Holocaust tells a bigger, okay, so you tell Magneto's story during the civil rights. What's his backstory that makes him the way that he is? I don't know. This is the thing. I don't know a lot about the civil rights in comparison to how much I know about the Holocaust. Nicholas Horton, for his 4-month member chat, says the new writers for X-Men 97 season 2 rewrote the script. So, well, I've heard season 2 is not bad either. Are these new writers that came in supposed to be better, less woke writers than the previous ones? How you doing, Nicholas? Good to see you. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is the best Star Wars game. Fact. It is good. There's that new Star Wars racing game that came out. I heard, who was it? Fucking Melvin on his stream yesterday was covering fucking Star Wars Explained, who got early access and played all the new games early. He's not a shill. He's not a shill. You're going to see the end of Oak Street? I saw a trailer for that. Probably not, to be honest. I saw a trailer for that, and I can't even remember what it was about and who was in it. I've only seen the trailer once. It was on TV. I was on my phone, I will admit. Let's continue.
Set the X-Men in the 90s or 80s, and then that might have worked, but even then, it's like 7-year-old guy. It's very hard. So just asterisks aside,
all you have to do is have them not age as quick. Give them double the lifespan. They age half as fast. I would rather them do that and fucking keep the same fucking storyline behind the character, the same backstory, the same trauma. You get the same fucking... Because the trauma's different then. The character changes.
I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring that element of the character, but I think a modern take and a way a lot of writers, and I'm not saying like Stan Lee wrote them like this, but a lot of writers parallel the two. I see these characters as Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. I definitely think that is the modern commentary. I think it is so topical right now. I think it's really important.
This is the thing, though. Is like... X-Men's supposed to be in our real world, right? They reference the Kennedy assassination. Magneto did that and moved the bullet around, and that's how you get the story of the magical bullet or whatever, you know? It's embedded in the real world. So the thing is that the civil rights stuff still happened in the... Whoa, fucked my microphone. The civil rights stuff happened in the X-Men universe. Now, yeah, you could tell a story during that time with those like with characters that are maybe embedded in that more if you wanted to. I don't see why Magneto and Charles would have still been there for that. I just think it's silly. Pay your dues.
I think, this is a comic written in the 60s. There's a lot of that, element to the cast, but I don't see the importance of Xavier and Magneto being white. I don't see that as like, I do think Jean Grey with red hair.
The lifelong thing is stupid because it should apply to certain mutants like Wolverine. I agree. I do agree with that. Well, then the only way, without doing something like that, the only way to... That's a great freeze frame. To basically tell this story is do it as like period pieces. And then the best way to try and move forward from like Charles and Eric is to then move forward from there with New Mutants, other mutants, after they're gone. But it's also so stupid. Like, I think mixing the universes and stuff like that together. I think if you just told X-Men stories and you told fucking Avengers stories, why do these things all need to take place in the same universe? Why does it always need to be the crossover? Why does everything need to bleed into absolutely everything else? Why can't you have isolated universes? And this is where I talk about like the Spider-Man thing, right? Why can't Spider-Man just be its own isolated universe? Why do you need to do the massive crossovers? There's so much that you can do with him. Anyway.
Hair, and I love that Scott Summers has red hair as someone that doesn't get a lot of rep. But I do personally see Malcolm X and Martin Luther King as the comps here. I do think the civil rights movement, like the 60s and 70s, was just now. I think we pretend that, you know, racism's done, and we literally like turn photos of both of these men black and white to make it like so long ago in the history books. Back then, it just happened. It was just now. I would love to see that commentary. So as a very much in that vein, Xavier, Sterling K. Brown. Sterling K. Brown is, I wanted him when they were going to do a Black Superman. That dude is Clark Kent and Superman, but he's also Xavier. That man is so captivating. He is so well spoken. He is so intense. He has so much to say. He is such a leader as a man. I have anxiety, and I didn't know how to like describe anxiety attacks. Watching This Is Us taught me more about my own anxiety attacks than anything.
Oh my God. Watching this told me more about my own anxiety attacks. Wow. Okay.
He's such a captivating performer, but he's also so patient in his performances. He's so good in everything he does. I want Xavier to be here for 10 years. I'd watch a movie of Sterling K. Brown reading the dictionary, and I need that for Xavier. I want that dude to be everywhere, and I don't count a Black Panther 5-minute scene as something to omit him for the future. Like, he's in that. I loved it. It's incredible. I want more Sterling K. Brown, Xavier. And then
so we got his pick for Charles Xavier.
And for my Magneto to be the opposition to that, the other side, but still a freaking presence and a full force of nature, Idris Elba. I think Idris Elba, it's tricky because of Heimdall. I'll admit, he's in it a lot more than 5 minutes. But that voice, that command, that energy, if Doom...
This is just so stupid. Why are you picking this? What, like... You don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. It's like asking him who would you pick to play fucking Snape. And he doesn't pick like Adam Driver or something like that. He picks fucking Idris Elba. Why do I keep hitting my fucking mic today?
Can be downy. I think Idris Elba would be an incredible Magneto. I think I could see him leading. I could see him being so captivating that you buy him. Like, the Brotherhood.
Yeah, it's true. He only knows black people from other MCU movies. Oh, that's so good. Michael B. Jordan. When we do that.
I see your point. Like, he's got
Wesley Snipes. We get Wesley Snipes. He's actually old enough to play like that civil rights. This is the thing. They're fucking old men. Even for civil rights time, now they are still old men. Not as old as they would have been when they were fucking during World War II. They're still fucking old.
Such an ability. He's so good as Luther. He's good in everything he does, but like, he's got this regality that feels like something that he's imbued himself with, like Magneto does. He's got this ability to like chest out carrying himself. He's so cool. He'll never get to be Bond now. I'd like to be Magneto because that's kind of a
this guy just wants race swaps everywhere. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to go over. I saw fucking Grizzy going over that. I was like, fucking hell, man. And this is the thing with these people out there talking about this. You know, they're planting the seeds of making it okay. They plant those seeds of making it okay. And then when they do actually announce it, people are already prepared for it. They're already starting to justify it. No Foster's, Rhino? No, I don't have any Foster's. Hunter Schafer has to be Magneto. Who do you cast as Charles? Professor X. Sadie Sink. She can be both Charles and so stupid. So stupid. All right, let's move on from that. Oh, this is something. Okay. So a little off topic, a little bit of something that I saw. So I think you'll remember Den of Shills, Den of Nerds, and Star Wars Theory and their little breakup, and you know, Joshy Boy wanted his $500 per show. And there was a bit of speculation going around about him being on coke. And this is kind of funny, I think. I'll play my clip in a second.
Logan out. Emma, it's about booger sugar. How much sugar is in that coffee? Are you talking about booger sugar? I shouldn't start that train up again.
You didn't start the
So
train
he's
up.
probably
So
acting like a freak, and someone's asking like how much sugar is in that coffee. So Josh is about to talk about
the crazy thing is that even just somebody asking like how much sugar is in your coffee, like maybe he's just thinking that he's all hyperactive and stuff like that, and there's a lot of sugar. He's like, and then he brings up booger sugar out of nowhere.
Coke incident.
Remember when there was a big campaign that said I was on?
A big campaign. It was like there was a big campaign. Dude, there was no campaign. Everybody just observed what they observed and saw that you were sniffing a lot and stuff like that, and just kind of, you know, assumed that you were doing coke. And this whole crash out of, you know, needing more money and all of this kind of thing and your time and all of this, it seemed very drug fueled, I've got to say. Very selfish thinking. The behavior reflected a drug user. Campaign.
Cocaína.
Even just the way
Big campaign that said I was on
hate him.
cocaína.
Cocaína.
And I was just like constantly on cocaine. I remember talking to my buddy about that when it was going down, and he was like, brother, I've seen you on cocaine, allegedly. They couldn't handle you.
All right, so he is admitting that he has done cocaine in the past.
Oh, dude. I don't necessarily think that's an omission. I've done coke.
That's something like we didn't know before.
But that is information that we didn't know before. I'll give you that, Melvin. Like he you know, it means that he's done it before.
He's admitting that he has done it. So he does cocaine. We don't know how often, but he's someone that has done it. And I think that's important to the allegations.
On cocaine. Like, it's like, I'm already a super crass, aggressive, somewhat of a dick face kind of a guy.
You're just a moron kind of a guy.
And it sounds like, I don't think this is something he did like in his early 20s and high school. Like, he did this recently. Fairly recently, it sounds like.
Okay. And like, I'm just telling you, you guys would not be able to handle it. Like, imagine this dialed up to 15. No,
we've seen this dialed up to 15. It was the stream after that you fucking, the one that everybody started assuming. That was you dialed up to 15.
you don't want no part of that, do we? It'll take all your bad feelings and turn them into good feelings. Allegedly.
He's just a fucking idiot. Allegedly.
But he's definitely done it before.
Oh, dude, he was on it on that stream.
Always thought you were more of a shrooms guy. I mean, depends on what the evening calls for.
What the evening calls for. So it's not only he's done it before. It sounds like this is normal in the Joshy household.
Yeah, that's something that you would say, oh, dude. I've been deep in that rabbit hole of drugs and stuff in my past. And even if he's trying to scoot around it, he's trying to play it off, he's trying to laugh it off, there's certain things that he's saying that tells me that, yeah, it's an occasional, a quite occasional thing that happens on weekends or something with mates or, you know, whatever.
Look,
this is a bad look for you, Josh. You would have been better not to have said anything at all.
Do you want to drink a beer? Do you want to smoke a bowl? Want to do a line? Yeah, just whatever, man. Want to inject steroids in our asshole? It's just whatever, man. Let's do a line.
Why would you revel in being obnoxious, though? Because it's obnoxious to revel in being obnoxious. Are you not paying attention?
Oh,
do you not understand what fuels me?
He's an idiot.
No, the truth is there's pretty much no good cocaine left.
And I gotta say, that's not true. Not true.
Cocaine levy sounds like an expert on this.
Not worth it. I would fucking annihilate that dude. Yeah, Josh got the Jonah Hills here. Indeed. Indeed, sir.
What is this stream?
Sensitive people are going to be uncomfortable with the way Doom kills.
So just very strange from Josh. Just admits that he's done it before.
Good cocaine left. I turn them into good feelings. Kind of a guy. So a super like they couldn't handle it. And he was like, brother, I've seen, like I said, I was on. Remember when there was a big campaign that said I was on cocaine?
I love that. The big campaign.
I was like constantly on cocaine. I remember talking to my buddy.
This was going on when he quit Nerd Theory over the money, and he's like sniffing up a storm on stream and like going nuts. Raging Rhino put together that supercut.
All right, now that Melvin mentioned it, let's watch that supercut. And you determine what you determine. Here we go. It's 2 minutes, so I'm just...
I like to get into a vibe. You know what I mean? So we'll get into it. We'll discuss it all. You know, the truth is, it sort of is what it is. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? Look. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Right? You know what I mean? That's all good. You know what I mean? Right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Totally understand it. Like, totally get it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And asking me questions and this, that, second, the third. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Frankly, I'm a big believer in like alchemy. You know what I mean? Sort of an esoteric, hippy dippy kind of a guy, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that's all. You know what I mean? But yeah.
That little twitch there.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Go back.
I can cook. You know what I mean? Wife, this, that, second, and third. You know what I mean? 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 It is what it is. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you don't. I'm not doing it for charity. You know what I mean? So weird.
What are you talking about?
You know what I mean? So, yes, I think that he was on the cocaine. Fucking moron. That's why I needed more money to fuel his fucking addiction. All right, before we get into the Star Wars stuff, let me talk about House of the Dragon. So, House of the Dragon has been kind of interesting for me. I never watched Game of Thrones. I've watched, I think, up to midway through season 3 of Game of Thrones. I think I overdid it because I just watched and watched and watched, and I got like a little overwhelmed by it, I guess. So I kind of stopped for a little while, and I haven't necessarily gone back to it. I did the same thing with Suits as well, which is really annoying. I think I overdid it. I watched it too much. I need to mix those together or something. But anyway, Game of Thrones season 1, I kind of enjoyed. I thought it was actually really good. I thought the characters were good. I thought, you know, it was a good story being told. Season 2 comes in. Obviously, it doesn't end the way that it probably should have. And I reckon that they lost a little. It was a bit like Invincible. How Invincible split that season in half, and the first half of the season was actually kind of bad. And then people didn't necessarily come back for that second half of the season. The second season of House of the Dragon was a bit like that. But then, you know, a little bit of word of mouth comes out. The thing is with House of the Dragon is that there are some really good storylines, and it looks really good as well. Like, you got to love the dragons. In that penultimate episode, the second last episode, there was a dragon fight, which was pretty fucking awesome. Although, you know, the fact that I understand, to the people out there that have read the books, I understand. Like, I haven't read the book, so I don't really know. But apparently Sheep Stealer can't die. But even with the way that fight ends, fucking Damon should have finished off Sheep Stealer. Sheep Stealer was wounded as fuck. Do you reckon Rhaenyra started a villain arc? It definitely seems that way. But, like, I hate the scenes with Rhaenyra. I hate the scenes with Alicent. I hate the scenes with that white worm chick. The way she speaks, the accent that she puts on and everything is so fucking annoying. So annoying. But then you watch some of the Daemon stuff. You watch some of the Aegon stuff. Aegon's probably my favorite character right now. Is it Aemond, his brother? I mean, there's been some interesting stuff, but I get a little bit bored with that shit. And Helena was a good character. definitely did a really good job of showing her fear of Rhaenyra and everything. So overall, like, it's been okay. Like, there was that episode with Rhaenyra on her period, which was really fucking gay. And I don't think the writers wanted to portray this message in Rhaenyra, but she is a really bad leader. Like, even the episode with her on her period indicates why it's not necessarily the best thing for her to be ruling, making judgment calls and stuff like that while she's in, like, you know, getting cramps and stuff like that. Sorry, women out there, if that upsets or offends or whatever. But again, I don't think the writers wanted to portray that message, but that's the message that I got out of it. But this last episode, the battle was really good. Again, the stuff with Aegon was good. And it was nice to see, well, we'll see what happens with that character, the White Worm, or the Master of Whispers, or whatever the fuck her name is. What's her actual character name? Because she gets away, she gets thrown out, but then she gets away, all because of a distraction. I kind of find that funny how she was able to get away too. Like, they're escorting her out against her will, but like she's just sitting next to the driver on the cart. No one else there. No other guards. You couldn't have a guard sitting in the back just keeping an eye on her the whole time. I mean, even if you did, he might have got distracted during that whole ruckus, but still. Anyway, overall, House of the Dragon, I'll finish watching it. Season 4, I think, is the last season. I'll finish watching it, and the thing with something like House of the Dragon or this universe is, like, the Dunk and Egg stuff was really good. The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, that was really good. I really liked that. I thought it was able to just tell a good isolated story within a certain period of time within this world. Obviously there was Game of Thrones, which was really good up until, some would say, the end of season 4, I think. Some would say a little bit later on, but it starts to fall off later down the track. And then you've got House of the Dragon, which starts really well, and then again starts to fall off very early on, obviously, and is now getting to a point where it's like, all right, I'll just complete it for the sake of actually completing it. But just some of the stupid decisions that are made by characters, it's like, you know, you've shown to be smarter than this. You've shown to have more intelligence than this. Allison, dude, so many things where, like, when Rhaenyra gets, what's her other son's name? The one that's with the other dude, I can't remember, but you know, they send out like a decoy back with Daemon, and Allison sort of gives it up straight away. Like, can't see the game that's being played right before her very eyes, by her side, and just gives it away straight away. Doesn't even try. Like, you would at least think that there would be some sort of attempt to try and cover up the fact that she doesn't recognize him. Anyway, I hate saying it because, like, it's what I always complain about with like the shills and stuff out there, it does look good. The audio that goes along with it, the soundtrack, the score is quite good. The thing that I see with this is that there are some good storylines, there's some good plots that, you know, I want to see fucking Aegon fucking just destroy fucking Rhaenyra now. You know, and you go back to his story and he didn't want to rule and, you know, he was sort of forced into it. I didn't even bother with season 3. Bring on more Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. Well, yes, I'm excited for probably Knights of the Seven Kingdoms in this universe more than anything else as well, Ryan. But it kind of, with what's happened with Game of Thrones, with what's happened with House of the Dragon, it just concerns me for Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, to be honest. Just concerns me. All right, let's get into the Star Wars news and then we'll wrap the stream up. I did say it was probably going to be a little bit of a shorter stream today just because I do have a fair bit of stuff still to get through around the house. I'm trying to organize that spare room that I've got to actually move all of this shit down there. But there's so much to do that, like, I get overwhelmed by it. I get overwhelmed by having to move all of this stuff out. Move things around, reorganize. It's just a lot. It's just a lot to do. A lot to do. All right, let's get into the Star Wars news. I hate how they use that fucking line as... I may as well use audio because we've got some audio tracks in here. So, Ian McDermott has turned 82. So happy birthday. Somehow Palpatine returned. That's what I hate. Why are you using that line? Why are you using that line? Legendary actor Ian McDermott turned 82 today. Happy birthday, Ian. I thank you for your performances as Palpatine, other than your performance as Palpatine in The Rise of Palpatine. So thank you. And then this. This is the extent of Star Wars news right now. Like, I've been saying, like, you know, for the last couple of weeks now, the last few streams that we've done, you know, normally I'd put in the title Star Wars news and there'd be something, at least something out there that we could talk about when it comes to Star Wars news. But we just get repetitive fucking storylines at the moment. We get people out there, the shills and the fans, the Disney Star Wars fans, the SEALs out there that just want fucking anything and everything as long as they've got Star Wars slapped on it, labeled across it. No one gives a fuck about this universe anymore. And apparently, Star Wars actor Ewan McGregor is really eager to pick up his lightsaber for another Obi-Wan Kenobi adventure, should Disney give him the opportunity. Well, look, why the fuck not? I mean, this is the thing. Ewan McGregor obviously isn't getting work anywhere else, doing anything else. They've already brought him in to tell a really, really, really bad Obi-Wan Kenobi story in between the two trilogies that actually destroys another part of the original trilogy. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Because the only thing that you've got left is to keep the seals clapping. And the way that you do that is you bring back Ewan McGregor. You bring back Hayden Christensen. You may as well bring back Natalie Portman. Make her a Force Ghost. Fuck it. Why the fuck wouldn't you do that? You're doing it with everything else. And like I said, this is the extent of Star Wars news. Has anybody out there heard anything about Ahsoka Season 2? Or has anybody heard? I know that it'll eventually start ramping up, the promotional and everything stuff for it. But Starfighter. And everybody's saying, oh, Starfighter is the dude. If Starfighter performs better than The Mandalorian and Grogu, I'd actually be disappointed in the Star Wars fan base. Unless they're all Disney Star Wars fans. Star Wars is so shit that I don't even know why you would even bother. Like, oh, I hope it's kind of like with the Andor thing, right? Like everybody praises Andor in isolation, in very much its own isolated box, right? Compared to everything else that Disney has done. Do those people that give that show praise think that Star Wars is any good? I don't think so. Well, the ones that I know of. Now, I disagree with them, obviously, on Andor. On so many elements of it. But it doesn't matter. Everything else is shit. You've already done. And what's the next story that you would tell with Obi-Wan Kenobi in it? Are they just going to keep dragging him back and make him a Force Ghost moving forward? This is where the expanded universe was so much better. Because, you get the heir to the Empire and you get that last conversation that happens between Obi-Wan and Luke. And Luke is scared shitless in that moment. But Obi-Wan knows that he can't interfere with things moving forward. Otherwise, you're at risk of making the same mistakes that have been made before. The old way. Let's listen to him. I actually haven't listened to this whole thing. I just got it sent to me, so I just thought, oh, this must be it.
You recently said that there's about a decade more story to Obi-Wan. Yes. Tell me, does that mean you're ready to step back into this world? Come on,
I'm ready. I'm ready whenever they are. They just seem to not be ready. I don't know why, but I'm...
Because the show that they did with you fucking failed miserably, and the fans fucking hated it and turned more people away from Star Wars. That's why. It's not even necessarily the character. It's the writers, it's the directors, it's the people working at Lucasfilm that are making these shitty fucking stories that nobody gives a fuck about. And why would you, of all people, you fucking sat there in your car and said, oh, these racist fans are no fans of mine. Dude, the show turned people away from Star Wars, more people away from Star Wars. Despite whether or not you want to race bait the shit out of the narrative or not. The character of Reva was retarded. She was stupid. The fact that she even knew that fucking Vader and Obi-Wan were Vader and fucking Anakin were one in the same person is fucking ridiculous. If you understand why and you understand the only actual people that really truly know. The way that they play off the reveal to fucking Obi-Wan in the show, the Vader is still alive, compared to how they do it in the fucking expanded universe, a chalk and cheese, and they are miles apart in difference in regards to how emotional they are, how the series of events that come to be where the moment is where he finds out is just so much better. Let's talk through this blast door that apparently blasters can't fucking blast through because they're a blast door, but we'll just have a conversation almost in whisper through this door. Fuck it, like the whole thing is fucking stupid. And you want to fucking play him more? There's another decade's worth of stories to be told. Yeah, there probably is. But with the writers that are currently writing it, there's not. There's fucking, just leave it alone. Let us think that all Obi-Wan did for a decade or more, while watching over Luke, was literally travel from his home to look at Luke for the day. Okay, cool, and goes back. Not even that. It got to a point where, again, in the expanded universe, it's so much better. Nobody fucking cares about Star Wars anymore. No one. Not even the hardest core of fans. I don't even know if I said that right, but you know what I mean. Don't give a fuck about this anymore. You fucked it. You fucked it, and then you fucked it, and then you fucked that fucking dead body so much that everybody's saying, oh, don't look at the box office for Mandalorian and Grogu. We're going to wait for Starfighter to come out, and that'll be a true reflection. Okay, I hope that it fucking fails miserably, and yes, that will be your true reflection.
I'm up for it. I think, at the end of the series, the Obi-Wan series, I'm walking off into the desert. I've decided to leave. I've realized that I can't just keep the pressure on Luke so I realized he has to have his own childhood. So I leave him with Uncle.
Dude, the fuck are you talking about? The entire fucking story was you and Leia. Yeah, at the end, there was a couple of conversations that happened between you and Uncle Owen. I was about to say Uncle Ben. Uncle Owen about Luke.
Owen and Aunt Peru. And I wander off and then Liam's there, Qui-Gon's back. And we go off and I'm on the
breaks canon, actually revealing himself as a Force ghost. Oh, he completed his training after the fact. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You clearly do not give a fuck about lore if you say that. You clearly don't give a fuck about lore.
And we go off into where are we going? And then the next time we find Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's Alec Guinness in the cave up in the mountains, Hello there. That bit. And what happens between those two moments is what I want to do and spend the rest of my career doing these.
Yeah, you want to spend the rest of your career doing that because that's all your career has left. Nobody recognizes you for the island. Nobody recognizes you from really much else. Black Hawk Down. The only thing that you get recognized for is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's all you've got left.
Stories. Series.
I think that it would be awesome. In fact, I think that the best thing that they could have possibly done, if we were living in a world where Star Wars was healthy, they didn't decanonize the expanded universe or anything like that, absolutely. You could have Ewan McGregor doing a TV series called Obi-Wan Kenobi, if that's what the fuck you want to call it. This is the other thing with Disney Star Wars is the titles of everything are just the fucking names. It wouldn't surprise me if the Starfighter's name is just Starfighter. His last name is Starfighter. Anyway, fucking If Star Wars was in a really healthy place, you do an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, you basically tell his story. It's going to be a fucking slow burn, right? But you do the fucking the entire first season is the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Kenobi novel, the first season. Because it's like the first year. And then at the end of that movie, you do the scene at the end of The Rise of Darth Vader when he's in the canteen or when he's in fucking Mos Eisley or wherever he is. And he hears on the holonet that Vader has just taken out fucking these Jedi on Kashyyyk. And you know what? After you finish that first season, you do the Rise of Darth Vader movie, right? That tells, obviously, the story the year after for Vader. You could find a way to do some of that inner monologue, get some exposition. I know that exposition isn't the best thing, but you find a way to get the exposition in there to show his inner monologue with, excuse me, how he feels about the suit and everything, but also too his weaknesses in some of these battles that he goes into taking down some of these Jedi, ends up finding them on Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk gets enslaved because of this, right? And then that's your Easter egg. That's your Easter egg, because you get basically at the end of the movie, you basically do the same holonet report at the end of that movie that you would do during like the end of the first season of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. They match up and it's like, oh shit, okay, so that's what happened. If for those people that haven't read the books, and then I don't know, you wouldn't do fucking 10 seasons and do year of Obi-Wan Kenobi on fucking on Tatooine. But you know, it adds a little bit more weight too to Obi-Wan Kenobi's reaction to when the Empire blows up oh, fucking why am I blanking? Bail Organa's home planet. Fucking why am I blanking so hard on this? It should be right there. Oh my god. Am I retarded right now? Fully brain farted to the point now where I've completely blanked. Alderaan, thank you, fucking Dr. Coffin Nails. That scene, thank you, Ryan, thank you, chat. That scene where Alec Guinness reacts to the Death Star blowing up Alderaan, right? And him feeling all the loss of life in that moment, you know, and Luke stops his training going like, are you all right? Because at the end of the Kenobi book, fucking Obi-Wan sends some people to Alderaan to basically save them, but in the end actually kills them. It actually adds more and more and more and more to it, right? When you start thinking about all of that stuff. That is what a healthy Star Wars universe looks like to me. Isn't it a shame that they're too retarded to even see that they could do something like that? The entire first season of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is the Kenobi novel. Fucking takes down a crate dragon and then thinks about what he's going to do about hiding his identity. Because he gets found out. He lets the Force take care of it and oh, dude. Spoilers for the end of the fucking Kenobi novel, but he ends up becoming a fucking a Tusken. Obi-Wan Cannoli for $5. How you doing? I like the name. It's probably the 13th now. It is the 13th now. But how are you doing after the planet was supposed to lose gravity for 7 seconds on the 12th. Really? It must have been while I was asleep. I must have just lifted off and then gravity came back after 7 seconds and I laid down on my bed. I didn't feel it for a second. But is it the 12th? Is it supposed to be for the 12th in America? And why are we losing gravity? I don't believe it. That's so funny though. Imagine we lose gravity for it's kind of it makes me think of Superman, right? I've said this before, and it was a while back that I said this. But you know, he's spinning the earth the opposite direction to turn back time. The funny thing for me is, okay, so the earth is spinning this way, right? And as he's going around it the other way, spinning this way, as he's going around it the other way, it's slowing down. What happens when it gets to stationary before it starts moving the other way? Does everybody lose gravity for that split second? Just starts lifting off. Anyway, it's kind of funny. I got found out that I was Italian. How you doing, Obi-Wan cannoli for $2? Anyway, back to this. That's kind of funny. We lost gravity for 7 seconds.
Movies. Have we got plenty of time? You know, I've got 10 years before I'm Alec Guinness's age. So come on, Disney.
Come on, Disney. Begging for work. Well, it did work for Leslie Headland, didn't it? It did work for Leslie Headland. And then you've got this. This is Star Wars news, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, Bryce Dallas Howard hopes there's more live-action Star Wars shows in the future. You think they're going to stop? What are you talking about? You hope there's more Star Wars live-action shows. You only directed, what, a few episodes? Was it of Mandalorian? So once again, you're just somebody that's not getting any work, that just hopes that Star Wars, the one place where they will employ anyone as long as you do exactly what they say and you toe the line and you toe the message that they want to continue pushing through using Star Wars, then you'll get work. What do you mean? We got Ahsoka Season 2 coming. Now, I will say, it seems like there's been a little bit of a lull in the announcements for Star Wars. Maybe that's got something to do with the fact that Kathleen Kennedy's not there anymore. There's been a bit of a lull in the announcements of Star Wars projects and news, but do you think that that means that they're going to stop? No. Right now, Dave Filoni, and I don't know if Jon Favreau is still there, but Dave Filoni and his cohorts of retards at Lucasfilm are sitting down trying to work out how to tie everything in together and justify how the sequel trilogy is the sequel trilogy and trying to make it work based on its own premise. Because Dave Filoni and no one at Lucasfilm, or even at Disney for that matter, have the balls to sit there and say, we fucked this up. The only way that we can correct this is to decanonize what we've done. You've made some money out of it. I don't know if you're even broken even compared to what you've actually spent on Star Wars compared to what you've got back. But despite that, you're either going to continue going down this track of losing audience, losing money, and losing fucking Star Wars and its relevancy, or you could actually correct the record, say, okay, we fucked everything up. Everything that we've done since Disney started taking over Star Wars is completely fucking decanonized. We are reinstating the expanded universe as the main canon timeline, and we're going to start adapting and telling those stories. If you've read those books and you like those characters and you like those stories, I hope you enjoy them and we can do them justice to the point where we can get your trust and hope and faith back in Star Wars. to those of you who haven't read any of the books and don't know the stories, I hope that we adapt them well enough that you get the enjoyment and the satisfaction that you're watching good and decent Star Wars moving forward. Wow, how different would that be? How many people would then give their next fucking show or their next fucking movie a chance? Now, they better fucking do it well. They better adapt that story and that. But dude, that's where you don't even need to tell the main storyline. Dude, if they made that announcement and put that out there and then did exactly what I just said, where they do season 1 of Obi-Wan Kenobi as their launch TV show, and they just do the Kenobi story. There's enough action in that. There's enough emotion in that to fucking get people going, right? And then they do an isolated movie. They do the Rise of Darth Vader, isolated movie. You've got Jedi, you've got combat, you've got fucking Jedi being hunted. You've got them outwitting the enemy. But then you've got Vader outwitting them and fucking just telling them, the way it is. The crazy thing is that you could actually do it where you release the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and then you release the movie just before, let's say, the penultimate episode, where, obviously fucking Vader takes out the Jedi on Kashyyyk. And then those last 2 episodes, well, basically the last episode would roll into Obi-Wan finding out about that attack on Kashyyyk and fucking losing his mind. And that's where he can run outside and start. Obi-Wan talks to him for the first time. In that whole year, he's been trying to talk to Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan hasn't been talking to him. And all of a sudden, Obi-Wan starts thinking, fuck, why would I bring fucking Luke to his father's home planet? I've got to take him. I've got to run away. I've got to do all of this. And then Qui-Gon doesn't appear to him, starts talking to him. And he starts talking to him out in the open. And some of the people start noticing, this Ben Kenobi's talking to himself. The rumors start, right? Then that obviously leads into, the way that they were talking about Ben Kenobi in fucking A New Hope. But then he runs into the alleyway and he starts having the conversation with Qui-Gon. And Qui-Gon tells him that, this place brings up too much emotion and too much of what Anakin has lost, to the point where Vader wouldn't even set foot on the planet for fear of awakening Obi-Wan, for fear of awakening Anakin within him. And that's the story. Dude, you make $1 billion if you released a proper adaptation of the Rise of Darth Vader in a movie. I'm telling you. And you tied it in with the Obi-Wan Kenobi novel, the Kenobi novel, you could either do it as a mini series. This is the thing. If you just did it as like season 1 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, there's not a lot that you can really tell moving forward with Obi-Wan Kenobi. What do you do in season 2? What do you do in a season 3? Maybe you do just do it as a mini series. 4 episodes, 5 episodes, but you release that movie midway through so that when it gets to the point where Obi-Wan does see on the holonet that fucking Vader took down Jedi on Kashyyyk, we've seen the movie, there's your Easter egg. There's the moment of shock and awe and the emotion that comes through in Obi-Wan Kenobi and that. Dude, $1 billion. As long as they announced that they weren't going to do any more, that they've decanonized fucking all their crap that they've done. Qui-Gon never completed his training to take form, only as a voice. Disney canon is shit. That is correct. But you get the Disney SEALs out there, you get the Disney shills out there that justify it by saying, no, but he completed the training after the fact. It's like, no, that's not how that works. It's not how that works. The whole time the fucking Yoda was learning from Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon never once appeared to fucking Yoda. Never once. Because he couldn't. And it makes it so much better. Because essentially then Yoda, is it Yoda? Yoda is actually the official one that completes the training and becomes like what? One with the Force forever. I don't know what the difference is for Qui-Gon being one with the Force and only being able to communicate as opposed to Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin. And then the fact that Disney made it that every fucking person just fucking becomes one with the Force. It's not how that fucking works. And I know that there's people out there that will try and justify it by saying, well, how did Anakin become one with the Force? He was still Vader when he died. No, he wasn't Vader when he died, first of all. He was Anakin when he died. And if you actually read the novelization, Obi-Wan doesn't appear to him, but speaks to him through the Force and says, quick, we don't have much time, gets him to find peace and becomes one with the Force. Very important. Very, very important. But they wouldn't even look at it being that deep. You know, Leia, who in fucking, well, in Disney Star Wars, not many people die. They get stabbed by lightsabers and they just don't become fucking anything. They just become immortal. But the ones that have died, you've got Leia. Did she fade away? Did we see her fade away? I think we did, didn't we? We got Ben. Ben Solo became one with the Force. Who else have we seen? Anyone else? Wouldn't surprise me if fucking Han falling down that shaft after being stabbed landed and just disappeared and became one with the Force. Well, he almost did, didn't he? He became a Force ghost in fucking Ben's mind and forgave himself. Anyway, that's Star Wars news, ladies and gentlemen. That's Star Wars news. They fucking... Bryce Dallas Howard wants them to continue doing live action shows. And Ewan McGregor wants to play Obi-Wan until his career's over for the next 10 years. Nothing about Ahsoka, nothing about Starfighter, nothing about anything else moving forward from those things. And those things are going to be a disaster. Those things are going to be a disaster. Wait and see. But that's where I'm going to call it, guys. I was only going to go for an hour. We ended up nearly, well, what, hour and 40 minutes, basically. Next week, we will just, hopefully, it'll just be back to normal time, as we have been doing normal time, but normal sort of length. G'day, Mr. Bantham. You came in and I'm ducking out. I'm leaving. But yes, that's pretty much it. Spider-Man's huge. We'll see what happens. We'll probably talk about it on Flashcast this weekend. House of the Dragon. If you haven't been watching it, I wouldn't. It's you just end up getting more frustrated with it over time. And Star Wars news. Well, the Star Wars news is the fact that there is no real Star Wars news. It's just all shit. Bloomin' Onion out? Yes. Yes. It's okay. See you later. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Thanks to the lurkers. You've been awesome. Just hanging out there, listening in. To the rewatchers, people coming and rewatching the stream, I thank you for watching. Please do smash the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification so that you get notified of when the streams are happening, because I'm not really doing too many videos. I kind of feel like my little rant or my little thing about Spider-Man at the beginning was maybe good enough to edit down into a video, so I might just do that. I do need to do more, but I've been on leave. I've been doing a lot of shit around the house. You got no idea. It's so awesome. I fucking let me see if I can just show you this really quickly. So I got the gurney out and the I'm going to turn the volume right down so that where is it? So like, you know when your concrete gets all fucking gunged up and green and fucking, so this was like, you can see even on the wall there, like all that green crap, right? Now that actually looks worse than it is. Like the only reason why that's so shiny there is because it's actually dry. Right? So that's the back. And then fuck yeah. It even looks bad in that picture, but it's like heaps cleaner. And then I did the front as well. My front yard. Like you see the neighbors. Hold on one second. I show the neighbors' path compared to mine now. Awesome. So I've been fucking doing a little bit of that shit, but now I've got to get stuck into doing the spare room so I can move the setup downstairs into that room. I get my full lounge room back. And hopefully that'll be good. It's going to take me a little bit of time, though, to actually fully set that up properly. So you'll still be up here for a fair while, I think. I got a lot to organize down there. But thanks again, everyone, for hanging out. Oh, let's see if there's somebody we can raid before we give a full outro goodbye. Who's streaming? I know Anna was streaming, and I like streaming Anna. She's cool. She's a good friend. She is still streaming, so we're going to raid her. We're going to raid Anna. That's Star Wars girl, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just set that up really quickly and make sure I hit save as well. Save. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks again for being here. We'll see you next week. I'll see you on the weekend over on Flashcast. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Have a good rest of your day. Let's see. What do we got? We got to do the Mozza farting. We haven't played it at all tonight. So we'll end off with that. Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, Mozza, read that. So Mozza, don't let the American bitch. Did you just fart? Yes, I did. Tell you what to do.
I think it's bedtime, Mozza.
Question mark. I think it's bedtime for Mozza. That's you pushed so far. That's the type of videos that we watch on fucking Happy Hump Day.
I gotta pee. Oh my god.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt! A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like dusting crops, kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bouncing into a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
It'd be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking very cautious.
You go away.
We bounced too near a supermarket?